Good night, traders. It is Wednesday, October 27th, 2021, 7:04 p.m. I'm here in Sri Lanka, and I am going to do this midweek technical breakdown a little bit differently. Today, we will be going over GJ and Eurgbp to get things started. I'm going to go just briefly over these two pairs as I'm not looking for entries right now for those two. So let's look in the economic calendar to get things started. So right now there's 4:34. I mean, this clock is California time, so disregard that. But 2 hours ago there was GBP high impact news. It was the annual budget release, and that was the only news for GBP. There's a JPY news coming up later on as well, but we'll take that along the way when it comes. But I just want to focus on this GBP right here, and I want to focus on Euro GBP and Gbpjpy. So getting back to the charts, high impact GBP news a couple of hours ago, we could see that it's past 30 hour, 2 hours. Here we go. High impact news happened around this region right here. So what had happened was it brought price into the highs of this miniature range right here and then whipped it down. And we can see that price is actually starting to decline because that's a manipulation. This is why you don't trade on the news. When you're day trading, you don't trade high impact news because we know that GBP long-term bias for GJ is bullish, but right now we can see that it is dragging price down, and it did in fact close below our pivot lows of 156, and so we can suspect price to potentially drive down farther for the remainder of the week unless we could see some potential pull back to the upside. I don't really see this support as holding up, and there's also JPY high impact news as well, so that might also impact this pair and allow it to drive farther down, maybe another 100 plus pips. So be very careful if you're going to take this trade on GJ today. It's not really the brightest move, and if I'm looking for an upside move to get into this trade, I'm not really looking for anything until potentially 157, which is far up here. So that's about 128 pips away. So if 157 is too far away for me to look for an entry, then the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm just going to wait until price starts to form a region below current price support, and then I'll take the price to buy into that region on upwards. So this trade, we are currently going to discard it. It's going into a counter wave, and that's not what we're looking for. So I hope that clears everything up for everyone, and we can just, if you want to hop in now and take advantage of that counter move, go on. But I'm going to stay out because that's not part of my trading style. And let me go on to Euro GBP next. GBP high impact news, like I had explained, happened 2 hours ago. Let's look at this: 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. So right around here, Euro GBP. So there we go. GBP must have had negative impact news because the Euro GBP went up and Gbpjpy went down. That's indicating that there's a negative catalyst in the making. Now, Euro GBP, there's no more news for Europe nor GBP for the remainder of the day. And to be quite honest, I don't believe that there's any more news for the remainder of the next couple of days for this pair. So let's take a look right now. So we have Wednesdays right here. So we're currently in Wednesday, and it's looking good. Watch out later on. There's a lot of JPY news, medium and high impact. Very, very, very volatile day, along with CAD. So GBP, CAD, and GJ I'd stay out of right now. There's too many high impacts. There's European news at 4:45 a.m. and that is going to be monetary policy statements. And then there's definitely European news in about 24 hours. But for the next 24 hours, I don't really suspect anything to really happen in Euro GBP. So we could possibly have a safe move back to the downside. The only one thing, like I said, is that we are currently in the U.S. session. I would need to see some sort of rejection and close below the current region of resistance. And I need to see a strong close of about 35 pips for me to consider this down move back in resumption. And if that close does not happen, I do suspect price to continue to go towards the upside on Gbp. And this is not my target if I'm looking for a bullish run. Matter of fact, I do see price going as high as another 30, 40, maybe even up to 60 pips potentially. And so I'm going to stay out of this pair. It could go into Asia because it's towards the end of the towards the end of the U.S. session. So price could be going into Asia to consolidate or to go off trend. And Asia is not really the session that I look for moves in. So you wouldn't really have any more opportunity for this pair until about London session tomorrow. And looking back at the charts, the calendar one more time, we see that London session tomorrow is high impact European news. So Eurgbp and GJ are pairs that we're actually going to stay out of. But Gbp, I want to take a look at a pair with Gbp while we're in this video. So I could potentially get into a live trade with you guys. So we're in the U.S. session right now, right? And is there any U.S. news happening? There's crude oil inventories at 7:30 a.m. USD time. So maybe I could find something to trade Gbpusd. Maybe I could find a catalyst. Let me look for this with you all so we can find something to potentially exploit right here live on this video. And I will try to keep this under 20 minutes. So Gbpusd. Let's take a look at this. First and foremost, I'm looking for my fundamental bias for Gbpusd, and I'm just gonna go and just take a couple looks at a couple of things, and I would say I'd be pretty bullish on GU right now. It looks like it's going up, so I would be pretty bullish. And now I'm going into the daily just so I could see its range. All right, I got that. And now let's get into the 30-minute and onwards so I can mark up its directional bias. Let me start at the 4-hour. So we see that price is, like I said, I'm bullish, but price did spike down really low. This is GU on the last 4-hour bar, and it's currently climbing up, but we can definitely look at the 30-minute so we can see that on GU in the past 2 hours, it actually was bullish. So this right here is a signal because GJ was bearish, Eurgbp was bullish, but GU is bullish. So this might be a breakout happening right now, and this might be the trade of the day. So at this point, I'm going to take a look at the supply and demand regions, and I see an area of supply on the 4-hour right above there. I'm going to drag and bring this right above there for support. This is my that's my next support area on the 4-hour, and this is my next supply area on the 4-hour. So it's going to go either up or down, and that's going to be where I start my markups. Matter of fact, I just wanted to delete that line and get a thicker one. And this is just an estimation of the region, so it may not be the exact area. So I'm going to go into the 30-minute and make any additional markups that I can right now, and then I'm going to take a live trade. So I do see another area right here. Aligns perfectly, and then I see another area. Let's look down below somewhere. That's the wrong one. Just a minute here. So the next area I would say would be potentially like around here. So you all can kind of catch a glimpse of what I'm doing. And now let me take it back out. Now we have a region. Now we have everything kind of marked up. If price continues to go down, it has to test this current area support, and then it's going to probably make a little minor struggle right there before it continues to keep going down. But that's a counter move, and I'm only looking for bullish moves back into the buy. So right now, very tough, very tough. I do potentially see an area right here. It's about 15 pips away. If this trade does get triggered, I would have to have a minimum of like 50 pips from my stop loss, and that would still be kind of wide. So for GU guys, I'm actually going to look for some longs. I believe a couple hours has passed for GBP, and there is some USD news that is coming out in about 15 minutes. That's kind of what I'm waiting for, more or less, because I do foresee a nice burst to the upside, but at the moment it's kind of just sitting there, and kind of got to wait for the US news before placing an order. But if I were to do a buy stop order, this is exactly how I would do it. So I would have this order right here. This is strictly practice purposes, so I'm going to do a light trade, light lot size. Perfect. So I'll be taking this all the way back up towards the most recent highs. This would be the daily move, 1.38384. All right, awesome. So just pay very close attention, because I do believe this is going to take off and burst to the upside, and I definitely would like to have some space against this position to enter some heavier lots. I do ultimately want to enter another 0.30 if price does go up, drag this pair, and then pull back into the drawdown. I could definitely enter the trade at that point, but since this is a risk-seeking trade, I'll definitely just continue to monitor and wait. But this is the setup. This is the trade of the day, guys. Gbpusd. I told you midweek breakdown was going to be a little bit different. I definitely am incorporating news, high impact news, medium impact news. I'm starting to incorporate the times of the day, the time of the week, and everything in my day trading regime, and you all will start to see how it starts to play out as I start to put more and more pieces of this together. Day trading can sound very simple, like, okay, it's super short-term trading, but it's extremely complex. There's a lot of components you got to put together. You got to figure out the times of the day and the pairs and the the lot sizes. You got to manage your risk for the day, not just for the week. Because another thing that might happen, it's happened with me, is that you might be day trading and you might have like a suspected, coming from a swing trader to a day trader, you might have a suspected maximum loss limit for the week. So coming from a swing trader, I would tell myself that I would risk no more than 5 to 10% for the week in my maximum loss allowance. And as a day trader, you can lose 5 to 10% in a day because it's so much different, and you have to adjust to that. And that's what I've been working on as well. So there's been days when I'm losing 5% in a single trade, and that's just my mind readjusting to the new terms, because it's no longer me holding a trade for 2, 3, 4 days. I'm holding a trade for 2, 3, 4 hours, and then I'm gonna see if I'm down or up 5 to 10%. So it's way different. It's a completely different field that I'm playing in right now, but I do enjoy it more. It's more immediate results, and hey, if it's for you as well, then definitely I highly suggest going down that route. It's not for everyone, and most will not make it out alive, but hey, if it's something that you pursue, if you're like me, you're a gambler. I mean, I grew up playing poker and went to the casino when I was younger, so that's just the mentality that I have, is I need the money now, I need it fast, and I resort to day trading because that's just my style. And some people are not like that. Some people want to sit down and wait long term because that's just who they are. Sit down with yourself, decide on who you are as a trader, what you want to pursue, go after it. Don't let anyone tell you not to do it. You wouldn't believe how many times someone told me that day trading does not work, or it's for suckers. And I still went, and I still day trading, and I'm still doing what I'm doing. A lot of failure, but it's coming clear. I promise you guys. So I'll follow up with you all at the end of the week. Hopefully this hits profits today, but there's no guarantees that anything is going to happen in the markets, and we'll just follow up. All right, everyone, have a good day.